Dahlias are my favorite flowers to grow. They're big, bold, showy plants. But did you also know that there are small, compact varieties of dahlias that are perfect for containers or small spaces? I'm going to share my 5 favorite varieties of small form dahlias. If you don't have a lot of space, you like gardening containers, or you're just looking for some new options, this video is for you. And if you want to know more about all things dahlias, click the link in the description, sign up to our email newsletter where I share everything I've learned over the last decade of growing dahlias at home. I honestly believe there's a dahlia for everyone. I think there's a dahlia for every garden. And dahlias may be known and rightfully celebrated for being big and bold, but I also think the smaller flower forms, the smaller plants, the more delicate flowers are equally as beautiful and also should be celebrated. But first, what is a small or compact dahlia? So typically these are dahlias where the plants maybe grow about 18 inches to maybe 2.5 feet. They typically have smaller flower forms, ranging from single form dahlias to some of the more showy and formal decoratives. Another feature of these dahlias is they have a smaller and more compact growth habit. They may form kind of a smaller mound of foliage and flowers compared to some of the other larger form dahlias, which typically will grow very, very tall and send up a few flowers at a time. The compact forms tend to be more mounding, and I have found them to be really, really prolific. You can get lots and lots of buds, lots of flowers, kind of all season long. And while, like all dahlias, they respond well to deadheading, and that allows them to keep putting more energy into flowers as opposed to putting energy into developing seeds. But in my experience, these smaller forms, they work just fine if you don't deadhead, or if you don't deadhead as often. They don't require as much maintenance. They don't need staking, and they can really integrate well with other flowers and other plants you may have growing in your garden. In no particular order, I want to go through some of my favorite forms. The first is called inflammation. So inflammation is a small, compact dahlia. It gets to about 18 inches tall. It has these vibrant and delicate orange flowers. The next one on my list is baby red. And like the name implies, it has a striking red single form flower. This one blooms and blooms and blooms, even if you get behind on your deadheading. And the bees and other insects absolutely love this plant. It's one that I'm gonna look to divide and get more of in my garden beds for sure. Third on my list is Bambino. And Bambino is a nice, clean, crisp, white single flower form. I really love white flowers. I think, especially with dahlias, there aren't a lot of kind of pure white flowers, especially compared to all the other colors, which is great. I love all the other colors of the dahlias. Having something white is just a good punctuation point in and amongst the other flowers that I have. And like baby red, Bambino puts out a ton of flowers. It keeps on blooming all season long until you get frost and it's time to bring them inside. And as a bonus, it's an early bloomer. So you're gonna get those flowers to open up earlier on in the season, and you can enjoy them for much longer, whether you're putting them in a garden bed or in a container. And fourth on my list is a variety called Hula. Now, Hula is a little bit larger and a little bit less compact than the other 3 that I've mentioned, than Inflammation or Baby Red or Bambino. But I wanted to include this on the list because while it isn't quite as compact, it is still a smaller form plant. And most importantly, its flowers are absolutely stunning. It is bright, and I mean bright, fluorescent fuchsia, and it really stands out and shines in the garden. In fact, the color of the flowers, it almost doesn't look real. It doesn't look like this should be a color that you can find in nature. The pictures that I have don't really do it justice. This is definitely a flower that you need to grow and see in person to really get the full impact. the last one on my list is a variety called Mega Boom Passion Fruit. And this is one that I picked up from the local garden, which is something that I like to go and do. It's nice when they're already in bloom. And so you know exactly what they look like, what the growth habit is going to be on them and all of that. This one is perfect for a container. I bought it in a container, but I did plant it out. And once I planted it out, it kept blooming for me all season long. And we actually had a pretty tough growing season. It was hot, it was dry, we've been in a drought. And this dahlia, most of my dahlias were completely unfazed and just kept blooming and blooming. It was a beautiful sight. Every time I walked past it in the garden, my eyes were immediately drawn to it all season long, up until we hit time for frost and I had to dig it up and bring it inside. So there are just a few of my favorite smaller form dahlias. Sure, they're not as big as their cousins, but they are no less beautiful in the garden. They are perfect for small spaces or containers, or just at the front of a mixed border. I hope I've given you a bit of inspiration and that you'll think of adding these smaller dahlias to your garden next year. If you love dahlias like I do, and I think everyone should love dahlias, and you want more, don't forget to sign up to our email newsletter. In the newsletter, I'll be sharing everything that I've learned from more than a decade of growing dahlias, everything that I can do to help you be successful in your dahlia growing as well. So until next time, thank you very much for watching and happy gardening.